drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's drop it like it's drop it like it's drop it like it's drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. Pimps in the crib, mom.
I was wondering, like, geez, how are we already there?
Oh, so we gotta restart. It's fine.
Hello everyone, welcome back to a professional match of Starcraft 2.
Aren't you glad we're not one of those YouTubers?
Oh, thank goodness. Welcome back to another delightfully low APM Starcraft video.
In this match, we're going to be switching from an early offense with cannon rushing to an early defense with the new Shield Battery Overcharge update.
The Shield Battery Overcharge update has really helped us Protoss players out to especially fall victim to those early Marine pushes really early on in the game. And you know, Marines are just really overpowered early on in the game. They cost 50 minerals, and Protoss really struggle to prevent just mass Marines coming into the base. You would have to make sentries and use force fields to cut certain chunks coming up the ramp. But now with the overcharge, it's not a hassle anymore.
You know, and quite frankly, we don't have the APM for that sort of thing, so we've had to come up with different plans.
Let's show our APM here. So as you can see, our APM is always consistently lower than the other teams.
Also consistently below average. Mine is currently below 40, even 34, 36. So in this game, instead of pushing with the cannons, like we said, we're just going to do a standard macro expansion. I'm going to get up an early cybernetics core, early second expansion, as you'll see just now.
Now if you watch other professional YouTubers, they'll say, at 16 you build a gateway, at 17 you build an assimilator. We just kind of do what feels right at the time, I think, and it works out.
Flow, you know?
That's it. Okay, I should expand soon-ish. So yeah, instead of showing an early game offense with the cannons, we're going to show you how you can just as easily just put up a defense and do the same. Now, an early offense with cannons does count as an early defense because it gives you enough time to get to a decent amount of units. But if you don't feel like doing that, if you're not confident in your cannon rushing abilities, or at least faking cannon rushes, then this is your next best bet.
Correct, and this strategy will work against pretty much anyone, even Odin the Allfather. We're going to send him back to Valhalla in this game, as you'll see.
Okay, so early Stargate coming up. I've just started mine too. Now, you guys might be wondering, is an early Stargate, you're talking about a macro build, but you're going into a Stargate, where's your robo facility? If you want to do macro properly, don't waste money on robos. Just make your Stargates, get out your critical mass of Void Rays or Carriers, because they are the most OP units in the game. So I don't know why you would want Immortals. Immortals are great, but they can't shoot up, so that is my only complaint.
Yeah, for sure. And in this strategy where I'm not getting all the economy from Darth Mikey, I'm not going to go immediately into Carriers. You do have to get out a good 12 or so Void Rays before you switch over to that.
Correct. Funding your fellow teammates only works if you start off with the cannon rush.
So let's just have a look at what our opponents are doing currently. Terran is standard douchebag build with 1 million Marines coming out.
Yeah, you can see they've just put a reactor on his barracks. He's
Double
gonna...
reactor coming up.
Correct. Now he's gone for a 3 racks build. Now we've all heard or seen of the 3 racks build of a 1 base expansion. So having 3 racks up before you've even started your second expansion, that just means a push.
Yeah,
now,
early push is coming.
We could have gone and scouted this, of course, and known that the early push is coming, or you can just put 1 shield battery within the range of your nexus, and then you're fine. Then you don't even have to worry about doing these difficult things like scouting, for example.
For sure, for sure.
Okay, now Odin the Allfather is currently warping in units using the Bifrost.
Yep. He's bringing in his Valkyries down from Asgard. But it's unfortunately not going to save him against the might of Protoss.
And shield batteries.
And shield batteries.
1 shield battery to be specific. Now, you might be saying, well, he's got a lot of units coming in now. 2 Zealots, an Adept, 3 Stalkers, and a bunch of
Marines. More streaming in as well from the base constantly.
Correct.
And what do we have? 2 Stalkers, an Adept, and a Void Ray.
That doesn't look good in our favor, right?
Definitely not. I don't know what I was doing. I don't even have a unit out there.
This does not look good, but as soon as you start that overcharge, you're just going to say, but why are they not simply walking through our army? Because this overcharge is just fantastic.
Yeah, there we go. Protoss is definitely the master race again. It just proves it one more time over.
Why would anyone want to play Zerg or Terran? To all our Zerg and Terran viewers, we love you. Carry on watching our videos. Don't. But who would want to play Zerg and Terran when Protoss exists?
Yes, such missions.
So as you can see, we clearly cleaned up that little push. Despite our inferior army, we had this bad boy over here.
Well, for sure, you got to work smart and not work hard.
Now, I don't know why he flew his command center away. Okay, but as you can see, he's currently just about to start mining on his second base. We are comfortably mining our second bases at this moment. Yeah, also taking a lot of gas because air units cost a lot of gas, so don't neglect that.
Yeah, particularly carriers. You never have enough SP gas if you're doing carriers. Never. You can have 5 bases all collecting gas at the same time and run out.
Correct.
So now from this point, now that we've decimated their early push, they're not really as in a good position for a long macro game as we are. So now we just capitalize on that.
We didn't lose a single unit. We lost 0 minerals from their push, but they lost a bunch.
Well, I think you did lose like an adept or two. But,
An adept doesn't count.
Yeah. Yeah. So at this point, I'm just capitalizing, and I've got my 3rd base going up. A little bit of
KO. Third bases are coming up, as you said.
3rd base, already 4 voids out. And I think my strategy that I use, I go for 12 voids and then switch over to carriers, and then use those 12 voids just to go and piss them off really, because void rays are great. I mean,
And as one would say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The shield battery clearly worked, so why not build a couple more just for safety, just for precaution. Now, at this point, we realize that if Soviark goes and does some harassment with his void rays, what is going to be the Terran's reaction to that? It's probably going to be battle cruisers, in which case I'm going to continue making void rays because void rays are great against battle cruisers, and he's going to go into carriers so that if the Protoss decides to make carriers or tempests, then Soviark can take them out.
absolutely. And on these types of maps, it's very important when you have low APM. You can't be wasting your APM on moving observers around and things. So it's very important to get control of both of those towers in the middle of the map there.
This is a mine game as well, these towers. Now, I did not hit an F2 hotkey at this point. I did this deliberately. And I'm sending them back deliberately.
They just needed to stretch their legs.
Yeah, it's cardio.
You gotta keep the stalker's heart rate up so that when they get into the battle, they
Keep the adrenaline levels high.
Yeah.
It was not an F2 hotkey. Let's see the production at this point. Slowly getting out some void rays. Started some upgrades. Fleet beacon is here to get speed for your void rays. You don't want slow
Those
void
flux
rays.
veins are very important.
Correct.
Here we go. I think I'm coming close to my 12. I've got 8 currently, so I'm getting close to my 12 void ray cap.
And that will be his harassment void rays before he goes into carriers.
Yep, definitely.
Now at this point we're going for a tech focus, so we're on our 3 bases now. We're trying to get all our upgrades going, get all our tech buildings that we need before we start focusing on production, because at this point we feel pretty comfortable that we could hold off another attack, especially since we held off the first one. We got 4 shield batteries here, we got energy for overcharge, and we got quite a few units at this point.
Yeah, and try to actually spend your minerals, unlike me. I think I was sitting on 1,000 in reserve there.
At this point you can see here that he has only started his 3rd expansion now, this Terran. Donepse. I have no idea how you pronounce that name.
Well, these Asgardian names are just difficult to get out if you don't have that divine tongue.
And even Odin the All-Father over here, he's not going for his son in terms of High Templar and Storm and Lightning. He just seems to also have an interesting pylon building arrangement going on here.
He definitely wants to make sure that Ford is powered at all times.
Over the Allfather did come and bully me a little bit and take out my observing stalker, and that's not allowed, should we say.
And you see here's a typical Void Ray harassment I was talking about. So just going to cheaply take out the command center, and once you've hit that E and got your prisms aligned, even if he's got all his SCVs, repairing that CC, it's just not going to work out for him. And then you can just run away with the increased speed. I mean, our Void Ray is not just the best unit in the game.
They shoot up, they shoot down.
They got a big beam, they got a small beam.
Now, I do think that you could have absolutely just taken them out at that point and just ended the game right there, but where's the fun in that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I really enjoy the feeling when you just walk over your enemy with the golden armada of carriers. So that's
Correct.
what you're going for.
Correct. So after he took out that expansion, he simply just ran away, just because it's a mind game. We want to bully them. We know we're going to win at this point. We just want to enjoy.
Absolutely. You gotta
Pleasure.
save it.
Exactly.
I mean, it is a game after all, so why not have some fun?
Now at this point, I made sure that Odin can never come bully me again and claim his watchtower. So I have 2 and 3 stalkers, and he's just got an observer. Now observers, that's for tryhards. People who try way too hard at the game, they make observers. We only make observers right at the end.
But
Yeah.
you see, like what I was saying earlier, he's got an observer directly over the tower. So if you just have the tower, you don't even have the need to make observers.
Correct. Now you might say, well, what if they went for DTs, or what if they went for Banshees? Well, at that point, you just make something from a Stargate. This is the beauty of the Stargate. You make something called an Oracle. And an Oracle now, I think it's only, 25 energy for a Revelation at this point, after the new patch?
I can't remember exactly, but
Or
it's
it's
something
50,
below
25
like
or 50.
your
Yeah.
Oracle will pop out of the Stargate with enough energy for a reveal. You can just chrono boost it out. It will take approximately 5 nanoseconds.
Yeah. You see, so if you have a Stargate, you don't have to worry about detection, because you can always just pop out an Oracle, chrono boost it, it'll be out before you know it, and you got that Revelation. And it has a quicker reboot time since its last update. There's some harassment Void Rays.
At this point, I think I'm starting to look at losing the Void Rays just so I can free up some supply from the carrier. But there you go. You see, they always try to go for cheeky corner expansions at this point, thinking they're not going to be found out. So that's all you got to look for. They're always poorly defended.
You see, and speed on Void Rays is just amazing. There's no ways he was going to run after you.
Not a chance. Not even with the stim packs that he's got going on.
Okay, now he's started his battle cruiser
As we
production.
predicted, Terrans are so easy to predict what they're going to do. They're all from the same pod. You know,
I'm sure they're all part of the same WhatsApp group as well, these Terrans.
This dude is probably there sitting on his phone, oh my god, guys, they're making Void Rays, what do I do? And then someone else quickly like, I'll just go BCs, mate, you're gonna beat them.
He's got his 2 air upgrades on the way.
What upgrades are we at? Oh, we are on level 3s already.
Level
Going for
3 upgrades on the way.
So you see, if you can just hold off that early push, then they're going to be behind for the rest of the game.
Soviark's level 3 upgrades have just completed. Got 6 Stargates going on over here.
Okay, you see, at this point, I decide to make a robo late in the game for observers, just in case, you know.
Correct.
It's a bit boring waiting for carriers to come out. They take so long, so I get bored sometimes, make some robo facilities and things.
Now, it is never good if you're both going mass air. It's always a good idea for one person to go mass Void Rays and one person to go mass carriers, because then you're pretty much safe against all counters.
At this point, I was very much ready to use my Void Rays for the supply, and I really didn't like those sensor towers that he had put up there, so I decided just to get rid of them.
They really do have so much map vision, Terran. So much map vision mechanisms. I mean, they can scan.
Sensor towers, they got orbital commands that can just scan anywhere.
So the best thing to do is just take them out. Now that you've freed up your supply, the carrier production is full on the way. You can see you've got a bunch more carriers here.
Yeah, now at this point there's really not much they can do at all. You just gotta wait until the Golden Armada whoops in from Ire.
Now this is kind of awkward. They have a base over here and they can't see me and I can't see
They
them.
can't see anything.
This is,
Neighbors.
yeah. Now one might say, you know, you could have easily taken out this base, maybe just scouted, but like we said,
Upgrade.
we don't scout.
I don't have a time for such things.
The thing is, all the time that you waste scouting is time that you could be using to make more of an air army.
Correct. Now, Darth Marky's got that nearly a full supply of Void Rays. I've got nearly a full supply of carriers. There's nothing else you need, really. I mean, that can deal with pretty much anything you're going to come across in any league below Grandmaster. So,
As you can see, these stalkers just freeing up supply. And at this point we know, okay, they've got some stalkers, they've got some storms over here. You see Odin has summoned Thor
yeah,
to come to his aid.
called in his son because he's getting desperate now.
And what is our Terran boy doing? Some marines and some battle cruisers.
There's always no reason. Always. It's like
Correct.
Terran parity. If you just scare a Terran like you're just letting them.
Now as you can see here, you never want to attack the interceptors for too long. You always want to target fire those carriers. Now I knew that Soviark had a large carrier army, so I thought if I can just take out a couple, then we'll be okay after that.
Yeah, and here I come in with the rest of our army. All level 3 max out upgrades, even got some observers there just in case. And at this point, it's late for them.
It's past their bedtime.
Past the bedtime.
Now they are cloaked by this mothership over here, and he storms your interceptors.
And which are they're so easy to rebuild, especially when you've got as many bases as I am. Like late game, always have a bank of minerals,
Correct.
so it doesn't even matter.
And if you don't have a bank of minerals, your friend does, and he can send to you. At this point, Soviark is just bullying them. The Terran is waiting for
Now I
his
knew
friend
he
here.
was gonna pull those Yamato cannons out on him, so I decided to go recall before he can get those off.
And you always want to do that. Remember, the time for a recall is quicker than the time for Yamato cannons to go off. So when in doubt, just recall. Got a new base coming up here, and I'm currently rebuilding my supply of Void Rays. Now remember, Void Rays with prismatic alignment absolutely kick battle cruisers' butts. So if you see battle cruisers, make Void Rays. Soviark was continuing to make carriers at this point just to deal with everything else, pretty much.
Yep, for sure.
Now at this point, I thought let them come in and steal this base. Let them think that they're getting a bit of traction or a bit of control on this game. Meanwhile, we knew that it was already over.
Yeah, I mean, not even the Aesir can stand up to the might of the Golden Armada. And here it is, and I think they're about to come in for a final attack. Even as few Void Rays as Dark Mikey has is going to be able just to hold off all his battle cruisers.
Correct.
Come in and block everything.
And he wasted all his Armada cannons on my Void Rays while this huge supply of carriers just sat back waiting to just completely walk over them.
And at this point, you just A-click them and you watch the fireworks. There's nothing else you have to do. You don't have to spend also 8 million on micro the units around.
Yeah, not much micro needed at all.
No ability activation. Yeah, true to my word, 46 APU average that whole game.
Yeah, look at that, and just like that, you will simply win. you will simply win.
And you will see, most of the time, he will just win the game.
It was simply win the game.
Alright guys, thanks for watching again, and like we always say, we're not going to tell you to like and subscribe or ring the bell because that's what the other YouTubers do.
And aren't you glad we're not one of those?
Alright
See you
guys,
next time.
see you next time.